Morning people, welcome back to F Politics. I'm here outside the BBC because I just realised that after the next election, BBC Question Time, the political debate show hosted by Fiona Bruce, has a decision to make. Because as a public broadcaster, the BBC has four choices. They can either skew left, they can skew right, they can simply serve the interests of whoever happens to be in power that day, or they can tell us the truth. Now sadly, Question Time has already failed on that last one, telling us the truth, because a key metric for how balanced they're being is how they portray public opinion. And they reflect public opinion via the audience that they invite, people who ask the questions on Question Time. And since the last election, where the Tories won a landslide, albeit off only 44% of the vote, they've said this.
Now, we select our audience very carefully on Question Time to be politically representative. The government has a large majority, so the largest group voted Conservative here. Say the majority of you voted for Brexit here in this, so we select this audience very carefully to be representative.
And you could argue that that's reasonable, because they're accurately reflecting the public to the best of their ability. Then why, in the week before the election, when they had a special Question Time episode for under 30s, a population that voted 70% Remain, did they have this? They said the audience was made up to reflect the general voting patterns of the public as a whole, which when it comes to Brexit is 52% in favour of Brexit. So they took a population that voted 70% in favour of Remain and portrayed it as 52% in favour of Leave. So that is objectively misinformation. So when you compare that with how things are now, when they have the justification to skew things in favour of the Tories, they do.
The government has a large majority, so the largest group voted Conservative here.
But before, when they had a justification for skewing things away from the Tories and against Brexit, they didn't. So that can be explained by them either having a bias to the right and in favour of Brexit, or them simply having a bias in favour of the government policy of the day. But after the next election, some of the polls are predicting the Tories might only get 80 seats out of 650. So the question is, do you really think BBC Question Time are going to reflect that in their audiences? Because recent polling shows that even if you include Nigel Farage's Reform Party, the right-wing parties only get a third of the vote. So if Question Time chooses to make their audiences 50-50 left and right, that shows a clear and deliberate bias in favour of the right. Because they would have artificially skewed their portrayal of public opinion towards the Tories' agenda on all three occasions. Now on the other hand, if they do choose to accurately reflect how the public votes, and 2/3 of the audience voted for Labour, the Lib Dems, the SNP, the Greens, Plaid Cymru, then at least they'll have been consistent. I just don't think they will. Do you? I'm Femi. Make sure you follow F Politics so politics doesn't F you. Have a great week.